Welcome back to Learning Spanish with Mr. A. What I want to talk to you about today is the past participles used as adjective. Okay, so the first thing that you must understand is what is a past participle. Well, you know, when you hear past participle, it really relates to a past action. Well, of course it does, because what you do in English is that you add ed to the end of the verb to get your past participle. If it's regular, now if it's irregular, well, you have to learn them, you have to know them. It's the same principle in Spanish, you see? So basically what you're gonna have to understand is that in Spanish, you have a gender that you're gonna have to depend on, I would say. Now you're talking about using the past participle as an adjective. So your ed form, your past participle, is going to describe a noun, okay? And in Spanish, nouns, okay, nouns have a gender. They can be either way masculine or feminine, right? And you know, and because of that, you're gonna have to take it into account. And when you write down your past participle, whether it's regular or irregular, you will have to bring the gender at the end of the past participle, okay? You understand me? So we're gonna go through the explanation that I have on the board here, and I will explain to you more in depth once we get to the example with practice so that you see where I'm going with this. So watch. Okay. All right, so basically, golden rule. I'm gonna bypass this for now, if you don't mind, okay? Okay, the golden rule is past participles in Spanish, right, change. The past participle in Spanish changes. Past participles, they do change, okay? So you're gonna question yourself, how do they change? Well, here's the deal. If you have an AR verb, or ER verb, or an IR verb, you're gonna have to be very sharp with what's going on here. If the verb ends with an AR, that means that that's an AR verb. Like, for instance, like if I say cerrar, to close, you end with the AR, okay? If I say comer, to eat, okay, you ends with the ER. If I say vivir, whoa, that ends with the IR, okay? So those are three infinitives that in English, they'll be the same. Because in English, the infinitive will be simply when you add the TO in the form of the verb. But in Spanish, you're gonna have AR infinitives, ER, and IR, three groups, okay? Now, the good news for you, though, is this. When you want to form the past participle in Spanish, right, well, you're gonna have to really think about AR verbs and together ER and IR verbs. Why? Because, okay, what in English happens to be the ED form, which makes the past participle, in Spanish is gonna be ado. The ED is gonna translate as ado for the AR verbs, and ido for the ER and IR verbs. You follow me? So the AR verbs, right, let's say you take hablar, and you wanna say spoken, right, that would actually be irregular in English, right? But in Spanish, it happens to be regular. How do you know that? Because you take hablar, you drop the AR, and you replace it with ado, and you have hablado for spoken, you see? All right, so it's not always the case where the irregular past participle in English will be the same in Spanish, okay? It may be regular in Spanish, from irregular in English to regular in Spanish. You know, like spoken, that's irregular. You didn't say speaked, right? You said spoken. And in Spanish, it's gonna be hablado. You follow me? So the same principle applies to the ER and the IR verbs, right? You will replace the ER or the IR with ido, yeah? Okay? All right, so now watch. Here I wrote down a sentence that pretty much sums it all up. When I talk about using the past participle as an adjective, I'm gonna look at the sentence and see what's happening here. First of all, I have a noun. The door is closed. So the door is the noun. What I wanna know is what the gender of that noun is, okay? Well, in Spanish, you know that genders usually end with the A when it's feminine and O when it's masculine. But not always. You could say el policía or la policía for the policeman or policewoman, you see? They both end with the A, but the difference here is made with a definite article right up here. You see la chica, el chico, you see? Definite article, la puerta. So, puerta ends with the A, I know it's feminine, right? So, what's happening here is that your noun is feminine. You know that for sure because the definite article, the, la, is feminine. Now, what happens here? You're gonna take the verb cerrar, which is to close, You're gonna take off the AR and replace it with the ado. Why? Because it's an AR verb, all right? But here's the deal. We're using the past participles as adjectives, all right? And the noun, puerta, is feminine. So this past participle here works like an adjective. So what it's gonna have to do, it's gonna have to agree in gender, okay, with the noun that it describes, yeah? And you're gonna say la puerta está cerrada. So the ado, o, and then masculine is gonna end up as ada, cerrada. La puerta está cerrada. You follow me? You see, this is an advanced concept that usually shows up towards the end of Spanish 2 in high school. All right, and well, you know, once you get it, it's like a game, it's fun. You just apply the rules and you have fun with it, you see. So golden rule, I repeat myself on this, right, that won't hurt. The past participle in Spanish changes from AR to ado, from AR to ado with the AR verbs, meaning that when you have a verb that ends with the AR, okay, the AR is going to go into ado, okay, that's your ED. All right, when the verb ends with the ER, IR, all right, the ER or the IR will be replaced by ido, okay, you follow me? So here, this is what I wrote down for you. The past participle in Spanish can be regular or irregular, just like in English, and that's a true statement right there, okay? So what you must understand is this. Look at the sentences at the bottom here. The door is closed. Oh, back to what I said up there. La puerta está cerrada. Cerrada. Why? Because the AR verb, cerrar, I replace the AR with ado, right? Because that's the rule. That's what you do. It's the AR verb, so you replace it with ado. But then because I'm using it as an adjective, right? Past participle used as an adjective, I must make sure that the gender of the adjective itself, right? Well, it's not an adjective, but it's like one. I must make sure that the ending of the past participle is actually going to be the same as the noun itself. It's going to have to be feminine. So cerrada. Okay, so that happens to be regular. Why? Because you took the verb cerrar, which is regular, and you replace it with ado, and in this case, ada, because puerta is feminine. Now look at the next one here. The piñata is broken. So here, in Spanish, to break is romper, okay? This is, all right, romper means to break. So if you apply the rule that you got up there, what you would like to do is get rid of the ER and replace it with ido, and you will end up with rompido, you see? All right, well, I mean, it sounds neat when you say it. It does, but it's wrong, all right? What you're gonna have to understand here is you go for an irregular past participle, which is romper. It's not gonna be rompido, broken, that's what you're looking for. To break is romper in Spanish, ER verb. So the rule says that you replace the ER with the ido, right? The ER from romper with the ido, but you're not gonna do it in this case. You're gonna have to remember that it's gonna be irregular. So you're gonna say roto for the masculine, rota for the feminine. So la piñata the piñata is broken, la piñata está rota. Note that the ending of the past participle matches the gender of the noun because you are using the past participles as adjectives for the purpose of this video, okay? And the purpose of Spanish as well. This is how it works, okay? So make sure that you watch my next video, which is going to be about the irregular past participles. You will then see a list of those irregular past participles, and you will have to really practice them as much as you can. Try to remember them if you can. That will be really what you need to do, to be honest with you. That's what I did. That's what my advanced students always do, all right? And it pays off, all right? So, this is it. So thank you so much for watching this video about the past participles used as adjectives, okay? And I will see you in the next instructional video. Hasta luego.